Hey, look at that, it's 2020. Since hindsight is also 2020, I thought it might be nice to do a retrospective review of my ball joint doll collection as it stands in the current year. I got my first ball joint doll in 2004 and I've been hooked ever since. I've had a lot of dolls in my collection over the years. Some have stayed since the beginning and others have cycled through. I currently have over 30 complete dolls and a few that are in pieces or just floating heads. To make this project easier on myself, I'll focus on one size category in each video, starting with my tiny dolls, which are all under 30 centimeters in height. In some shots, I'll be using this 1¼ inch cube for size reference. This was a promotional event purchase within Alice's Collections order I did. I haven't painted it yet and I'm still trying to decide what kind of bird I want to paint. The tail is jointed and has some mobility, but not much. The head is jointed and also has limited mobility. It's understandable with something so small. It makes a cute pet or accessory for the other dolls. This was also an event gift from Alice's collection. During the event, qualifying orders could purchase this deer for around $10. The arms pose fairly well, but there are no wrist joints. It sits well balanced. The mid-leg joint is pretty much useless. There is good mobility at the hip joint and it can stand well on its own. The tail can be moved and posed. The antlers are connected by magnets and the antlers can be removed and rotated. It has a standard magnet head back for removing the head and changing the eyes. The S-hooks are connected directly to the outer limbs on both the arms and the legs. It's really cute. I painted mine to be kind of like a magical girl sidekick animal. The overall quality and attention to detail on this one is great. If you think it's cute and you want one for yourself, I think it's worth the purchase price. Or you can keep an eye on Alice's collection to see if it makes a return as an event gift. The head mobility and posing is okay. This one also has the usual magnet head cap. The double joints are well engineered and allow for a wider range of movement. They snap a little bit, but not too much. The sculpting on the joints is very Hans Balmer inspired, and I'm not sure how I feel about that on a childlike doll. The torso joint allows for slouching, but with the sway back it gets this big lump that sticks out. The thigh cap allows the leg to rotate around. It has an inner peg that prevents the joint from unintentionally separating. The knee joints match the elbow joints, both in engineering and style. If you pull the thigh away from the thigh cap, the leg can be posed curling up, though it looks a bit weird when the joint is visible. This body can sit on its own, although it requires a little bit of adjustment to find the balance. Luckily, the arms can move to help prop the torso up. You'd think with how much effort and detail went into the joints that this body could hold a lot of poses, but I find it takes a lot of work to get it to do the thing I want it to do. One thing I would like to emphasize is that the legs and arms of this body are much longer than most similar sized dolls, so sleeves and pants on clothing is always too short. That's really annoying. Eddie is on the Rico YoSD boy body. It has pretty good head movement. The body is single jointed. I find that Volks bodies pose very well for being single jointed. They are some of the best single jointed bodies I've personally handled. The resin ages well and is heavy. Authentic Volks dolls have this stamped metal ID plate in the back of the head cap. The plate IDs the month and year of manufacture as well as the location it was sold at. The body is balanced and sits and stands on its own. I like how this body can do cute curled up poses and Rico sitting. The leg joints lock in place at the knees to help with standing. Overall, I really like this body, and I find that Volks makes a high quality product in pretty much everything they sell. Show is on the Rico YoSD girl body. The girl body is nearly identical to the boy version. I recently restrung this body, so the elastic tension is a little tighter in this one. Elastic tension affects the posing. When your doll starts flopping like a fish, it's time to restring it. Volks dolls often come with kips, which are thin silicone discs that go in between the pieces of the arms and legs when you're stringing the doll. KIPS is an acronym for Keep It Posed System. As the name implies, KIPS help the doll maintain a pose. Lutz offers a similar product in their web shop. You can also buy generic silicone washers, but I find that the Lutz and Volks brand sets work the nicest. Pretzel is on the Honey Dolf body, which is no longer available from Lutz. It has really good head mobility. The arms are double jointed and pose well, but they tend to snap in place. So while you can do many poses, the variety is restricted to the pose it likes to snap to. The thigh cap rotates and is supposed to lock into place, but I find it tends to rotate around on its own. It can be a little annoying sometimes. The knee joint is also double jointed. It's a little loose and snappy. The hip cap has a lock to help keep the sitting position, but it doesn't work very well. Despite all of these bells and whistles with the complex joint engineering, the doll isn't exactly great at doing basic things like subtle poses or sitting on its own. The overall balance of the doll is not great. The torso joint can be slouched to help adjust the balance. The sculpting of the body and the joints is aesthetic, so it does look nice. The head cap has magnet closures. One of the magnets has come unglued on mine, but it still holds together well. Overall, this is a very cute doll. I think the price is very good for the quality of the product. Okay, this is the cutest thing in my collection. It's like a little chibi anime doll and I love it. The head joint is limited in some directions but moves well in others. Side to side is not great. The head cap on Danta has a combination magnet and tab. Inside the head cap is 2 indents for more magnets because the full set version of this doll came with cat ear parts. The arms hold pose as well. The double joint at the elbow needs to be pulled a little to fold completely, which I actually find helps prevent pose snapping. The joints of this doll move really smoothly, which is something I see more often in older dolls, but not so much in newer dolls. I do prefer the smooth movement, personally. The torso joint allows for a bit of slouching, and I find it holds pretty good, but you do get a visible gap. The legs snap into and hold a sitting position well despite not having a locking mechanism. The knees are also double jointed, but it doesn't offer much extra in terms of leg folding. The ankle joints have pretty good mobility. The feet are chubby, so sometimes shoes fit a little tight or not at all. It's just so cute. These little 2D dolls have so much character. If you have a favorite anime character you'd like to shell in chibi form, this body is perfect for that. I find that 2D doll is a little expensive compared to other Chinese-based doll studios, but the quality of the sculpting and engineering is so good. It's worth every dollar in my opinion. Oh, I should mention that the heads of the 1/6 doll are the same size as the 1/4 heads, so they're a little bit top-heavy. Despite that, they don't have any trouble standing and can sit well with a bit of a slouch. This is the same body as Danta, just a year or so newer. It looks less shiny than Danta's body because I gave this one a top coat spray of Mr. Super Clear UV Cut. This one is slightly pinker because it's not as old as Danta. After 1 year, I noticed a little bit of mellowing in the color, but not much, and the mellowed resin is a very pleasant color. Other than that, it's identical to the Danta body. This head uses a faceplate and headback system. I'm not sure which head sculpts from 2D doll use which systems. The faceplate is really secure. It takes a bit of effort to take it off. It uses a magnet and a tab just like Danta. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of faceplates because all of the handling risks damage to the painting on the face. Other people really like faceplates in general. It's all personal preference. This body is so adorable. I love the shape and proportions for chibi characters. Ugh, this body. The head doesn't work great on it because it's a hybrid. I got this body because it was the only one I could find with a similar neck circumference to Dollzone. This head was made for the same body as Dollzone Mio that I showed earlier in the video. I really wanted this event head, but it was restricted for purchase of an X dollar amount from Dollzone. I managed to buy this head separately in a personal sale after the event ended. Now, you might not have found any good resolution photos of this specific Resin Soul body on the internet, and you may have not seen any reviews of it. Neither did I. Learn from my fail. This body is absolute shite in every way imaginable. I feel like I got scammed just by purchasing it for full price from the maker. Look at this hand, it doesn't even fit properly in the wrist. I hate it. The arms can't hold a pose, they just fall back into place at the doll's side. They snap around and just don't work, like, at all. It has a torso joint, but it's not made to allow the doll to slouch. It's pretty much useless. There's nothing special about the leg joints. They fit poorly into the hips. The joints are very snappy. This doll came to me tightly strung, so the snapping is really exaggerated here. You can see by how easily the limbs move on their own that the engineering is pretty bad. This body is very lightweight compared to other dolls in this video, and the resin has a really cheap, brittle feeling to it. For a single jointed doll, not much care was put into making joints that function or even look good. The locking joints dislodge at the slightest movement. Oh, and check this out. I bought an extra pair of 1/6 Resin Soul hands when I ordered this body. They don't fit the wrists. I had to email Resin Soul directly to order them as separate parts, and they didn't even mention in our conversations that these 1/6 hands wouldn't be compatible with the 1/6 body I ordered. They're too small to be 1/4 hands, so I don't know what's going on here. I would not recommend this body to anyone unless I really hated that person and I wanted them to suffer and be out $100. And that was my tiny size ball joint doll retro review. Which doll in the video was your favorite? Would you like a more detailed review in the future? Let me know what you'd like to see. Links to the doll studios and web shops are provided in the description below. If you have a question about any of the dolls in this video, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.